Hey, good evening, everyone. What's going on? It's Dr. Bashar Wilson with New York Sports Acupuncture. So, in this city that we live in, it would be optimal if the environment that we lived in was everything that it needed to be to support our health, our longevity, our mentality, our life, and just overall wellness. But unfortunately, that's not the type of world that we live in, especially if we live in the city. And there are many things that we have to do and responsibilities and intentions that we have to make in order to create the optimal life that we want to live. And so today we are going to discuss how we can go about doing that. Oftentimes, when we think about our health, a lot of people will focus on food and water and the nutrients that we take in, the vitamins and the minerals and the exercise, and all of those things are true and they're great. But there's a whole lot more that goes into our lives. And when we think about the things that can work against our health, whether it's the processed food, the eating too much meat, drinking too much alcohol, smoking, all of the things that work against our health, we want to decrease those things. And when we decrease the things that go against our health, we're lessening the factors that can lead to disease and sickness. But what are the things that we can do to build up on the other side? So, first, we can talk about our environment that we live in. Whether we're talking about our home, our neighborhood, what is the environment that we subject ourselves to? So, everything has a certain level of a chi to it. When we're talking about chi, we're talking about the vital energy. Oftentimes, we'll talk about how our chi flows in our body, but everything has a certain type of chi to it. So, what is the chi of your environment? In like the Tao and in like Chinese culture, you talk about Feng Shui. And Feng Shui deals with how is our environment set up to be optimized. And there's a whole science to that, not only in Chinese, but in all sorts of cultures. I've seen it in India, I've seen it, of course, in different cultures in Africa and Europe, everywhere has a way to set up the environment. So when you're in your environment, how does it feel? What is the energy that it's giving you? Because everything that we are experiencing in terms of with the chi in our bodies also creates a biochemical response. So when we go and into our environment and have a pleasant environment, it creates pleasant biochemicals in the body that build up and saturate our body. And all of these things build up over time, over the course of our life. And we want to have longevity in that way. So, some of the things in your environment to make it more pleasant is to have it clear. The same way we want to have a clear mind, we also want to have a clear body. So we want to get rid of that clutter. You walk in, there's those things that you need to put away, that you need to organize. Um, these things all can take up a certain amount of our intelligence and our focus because there's these things where it's like I know I need to do that. I know I need to do that. And if we don't do it, then all of that is creating that sort of energy in the body of regret, or it just distracts the focus. And we want to have our energy and our resources going to strengthening and supporting our longevity. So we want to get rid of whether it's folding up your laundry, keeping your house clean, keeping it dusted, your kitchen, your living room, bedroom, bathroom, outside your house, outside the actual house, sweeping up, making sure all the leaves and things are outside. And sometimes we don't have control over all of those things in our environment if we live in a building. And even if you do live in a building, an apartment building, even if you're not the landlord and it's not your quote unquote responsibility, if that's where you live, you may have to go out there and hit that broom and, throw some whatever cleaner and clean off the sidewalk, because it's going to just encourage that sort of energy within you. In your environment, you can also incorporate plants. How do you have it decorated? How does your house smell? Do you have your incense burning? Did you sage it out? You have your essential oils diffusing in the air? What are all of the different ways that you're strengthening and supporting your body? What about your lighting? uh, you want to open up those blinds in the morning, let that natural sunlight, because that sunlight is also going to carry that energy from the sun, from that raw energy, that life, that unk energy. A lot of times, folks will wear that unk, but you want that sunlight to come in and help to clear the air, and that'll also help to declutter any toxic energy and any toxic air in the body. And so, with all of the different colors that we have all of the colors of the rainbow: the red, orange, yellow, blue, indigo, violet. They all carry a different type of vibration and different type of energy. And how are those represented in the decor in your house? They're all going to feed different aspects of yourself from a subtle level. To go on, we started discussing it already with the chi of your air. What is the air that you're breathing in? Here in the city, we have all sorts of smog and car exhaust and just dirt in the air. We don't have a lot of trees surrounding. There's more buildings, there's more concrete in this concrete jungle. But what are the ways that we can intentionally get fresh air? Whether you're talking about the air in your household, again, opening up the windows to get that cross draft, to get that stale air. We're coming to the end of the winter in the next couple of days, moving into the spring. We want to get that fresh air out. We've been cooped in the house all winter long. It's chilly out. You may not even think to open the window, because who wants to open the window when there's brick outside? But sometimes we just want to even crack that window and get that fresh air in. Some folks like to say it's brisk outside. With that air also, you can get the plants. Again, there are a lot of specific plants that are very common: your snake plant, your philodendron, all of the different, your ferns, and all of your different plants that are going to add extra oxygen to the body and to the air and to our lungs. And that oxygen is going to also go in to support our lungs and get into our bloodstream and oxygenate our tissues. And we can do some deep breathing in the house. If you have plants, or even if you don't, you want to take the time to do some deep breathing with intention. Visualize yourself breathing in pure air, and when you're exhaling the toxins and the waste fully out of your lungs and just out of your body in general. Visualization is actually an excellent thing that helps a lot. In your home also, if you need to, you can also use air purifiers with a HEPA filter, the HEPA, the HEPA filter. That's going to also pull toxins out the air and also decrease the level of dust in your air. And again, we want to spend time in nature. So get to the park, get to Prospect Park, get to Central Park, get to some grassy areas where you can just go hug a tree, whatever it's going to take. Talk to your plants, show your plants that love, so you can get as much pure air as possible. Hold on. And again, as we're supporting and getting all of these different things from our environment, from the air, from food, from water, all of this builds up over the course of our life. And with some of our ancestors that may not have had a whole lot of money and a whole lot of the great things in life, the all the relaxation things that we can do, a lot of them live longer because they lived a natural lifestyle. They lived in nature. And from the time they were in the womb and as a child, they didn't have the processed food. They didn't have the dirty air. They didn't have like all of these, as many different negative influences, and not just from thoughts and things, but just things in the environment that we're bombarded with, the radiation in the air. Everybody has phones. All of these phones are sending all of these waves that we can't even see, that are going through our body, just transmitting, and our bodies are picking this up. So it's so necessary, even more now, that we work to be intentional with our life and the different things that we want to experience. So with our food, what's the quality of the food? One of the things I say is you want to eat at the top of the food chain. You want to eat the best food that you can afford, not just do something because I'm hungry and it's a quick meal. I'm gonna run over here and get this something that I can eat in 5 minutes. And usually that's gonna be something that's too salty, too oily, cooked by folks that don't care anything about you, don't even eat that type of food themselves. And these things over time lead to inflammation in the body. The negative energy that might have been cooked with that food, that home cooking, that soul food. A lot of times the soul food wasn't because it was the macaroni and cheese and, the stuff that we know that doesn't even help to strengthen the body. It was the energy that grandma was putting in the food. They say you put your foot in it, but that energy that grandma was putting in the food was actually feeding you on a spiritual level. Most of us were raised to say grace or bless our food before we eat it. And most folks I know still do that, regardless of their religious or whatever their way of tapping into divine is. Most folks know to pray over the food and put some good positive energy on your food so that it's received for the benefit and the sustenance of your body. But that's one part of it. The other part is like you can't pray over poison and think that it's going to be medicine. You know what I'm saying? So we want to make sure that we're doing the things that we need to do. How many how much plants? I was doing some research and it was saying we need to eat damn near like a half a pound or a pound of vegetables every day between your fruits and your vegetables just to avoid cardiovascular disease and cancer. So, how many plant based foods are you eating per day? What's your green leafy vegetables looking like? What's your fruit intake looking like? Your root vegetables. What are the different colors of foods that you're eating? Are you getting your greens? Are you getting your yellows and your oranges and your reds and blues and purples and even white foods in terms of the white fleshy foods in terms of like your apples and cauliflower and pears and things like that. Because each of those vibrations and those hues, those pigments in the foods, all have a certain level of nutrition and biochemical energy that we want to take into our body to feed our body, to detox our body. And then again, it accumulates over the years to support our longevity. It's going to go in to help to strengthen different organ systems of the body, whether we're talking about our heart, the lungs, the liver, the kidneys, the intestines, reproductive health, your energy, your building up your blood circulation, all of these different things. So we want to make sure that we're getting that full blend of natural based pigments because your body is going to take that and do the alchemy that it needs to transform you into having a strong aura. It's going to show up in your swag. It's going to help you to even be more successful with the different things that you're working to achieve. Because the more that that's being pulled away from our body in terms of having to rebalance from illness, whether something that we're already suffering from, or from something that you didn't put into your body, and now your body has to figure out what to do with it. That's almost like a distraction from you being able to achieve your purpose as quick as possible. We want to get all of the different flavors of food in our food also, because each of the flavors have a different energy to them that's going to feed our organs and feed the spirit of that organs, whether you're talking about your sour foods, your bitter foods, your sweet foods or naturally sweet foods, salty foods, your pungent and acrid and savory foods. We want to have a nice blend. And having a blend doesn't necessarily mean equal. You don't have to have a equal amount of bitter foods, but you do need just a little bitter every day because that bitter is going to help to clear heat from the body and help to decrease inflammation. That sour is going to have effects and all of these things. And so, what is the blend of that? And for some of these, when I challenge you, we all have a phone, right? So, research on your own. What are some naturally sour foods? What are some naturally bitter foods? What are some naturally salty foods? What are some naturally savory foods? And um, and make that list so when you go shopping, you're adding those and experimenting with different flavors and different produce and other things that's going to give you something different for your body. Another thing are your thoughts. How mindful are you of your thoughts? What are you thinking about throughout the day? Is your mind just going everywhere? With social media, it's easy to just go on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or LinkedIn or wherever, YouTube, and just go on. And with these shorts, these are like these little 1 minute things. A lot of stuff is funny. I get caught on it myself too. But what are the intentional thoughts that we have? How are we programming ourselves? What are the positive affirmations that we're giving to ourselves? I'm happiness, I'm joy, I'm blessed, I'm love, I'm in tune with my inner self, I'm grounded in myself. I just bring in positivity. I'm grateful, I'm thankful, and really taking the time to make these affirmations and thoughts. And one of the things I found is that sometimes, I could be thinking about some crazy stuff, and I'm sure, we can sometimes be thinking of things that aren't the best and find where it's like, yo, I can't stop thinking about this. And that's when I'll hit the affirmations because we can't think about two things at the same time. So if I don't want to be thinking about some foolishness, I'm going to intentionally then begin to hit the affirmations. And then after a while, my body, and not even in a short period of time, my body will get the gist of what I'm working to do, and those negative thoughts will go away. And over time too, like I remember, bless the spirit of my aunt Mina, um, one of the elders, she passed away. My grandmother's sister passed away in '99 during COVID, actually. And sometimes I give her a call to check in on her. And I'd be like, "Hey, Aunt Mina, this is Bashar. How you doing? Oh, hey, baby. I'm in here just reading my Bible." And so she would get up early, cook her food, watch her stories and things, and then she would read her scripture. And so, and I'm sure, they all grew up with whatever went on in their life. They weren't perfect and they weren't all saints all the time, too. But having that intention of taking in that spiritual, that scripture, tuning herself in with God, tuning herself in with the divine, and saturating her body with that. And between that and the natural foods, the water, the air, other ways that she lived during life, she made it to 99 years. And so we want to be intentional so that we can continue in that whole path of our lineage. And if you have different things that you don't want to manifest with your life and your family based off of what runs in your family, you have to be even more intentional around what you're doing and be a priest or a priestess of yourself so that you can work to create the life that you want to create and be intentional in that way, as opposed to just taking what the world give you as is. Create your own cards. All right. So next, in terms of our physical body, what are the different activities that we're working to saturate ourselves with? How much exercise you're getting, whether it's the walking, whether it's hitting the gym, the yoga, the Pilates, the running, the basketball, the cardio, the dance, um, the Tai Chi, the yoga, all of these different things. We want to, again, build our bodies up because not only does it have an effect on our physical body, in terms of helping to keep us limber, helping to keep our chi flowing, helping to keep the blood flowing, helping to keep the joints nice and moving and flexible. um, you're also building up that habit and that energy within your body. And the more that you're doing that, the less that you're doing something that's going to go against um, your longevity and going against, shortening your life. So there are different things too in terms of the movement, but also with the thoughts to the meditation. What sort of things are you meditating? What sort of things are you taking in? Growing up, like most of us on here, on hip hop and rap, things like that, I listen to music now with a different ear, with a different ear. My son is 12. And so a lot of times I'm thinking about stuff like as I'm listening to music, I'm like, would I want my son listening to this? And a lot of times it's no. It's not a whole lot of music that I love and that we all grew up on that I'm like, I want my son listening to this. And then the stuff that's out now, too, I don't want to be a hypocrite and being like, yo, I don't want you listening to this stuff that's out now. He listened to our stuff and being like, yo, Akinelli was telling you to put it in you. You know what I'm saying? And so jamming. And so those are thoughts that I want to take in, and how much of that was like a sabotage in the name of fun and in the name of joy and some of the best times of my life I could think about to some of this music. But how was that programming me, and how that have me acting out here in the world? Was that the best way to be acting? Was that bringing me more towards my goals and things like that? A lot of times, when if that's the soundtrack of it, that joint is kind of foul, like. And it's the same sort of things that we hear someone just walking down the street saying it, or in our household saying it would be unacceptable. With the music is entertainment. So just it made me just think about that. And so a lot of times I'm just going back to the old school soul music, R&B music, jazz. In my office, I just play like the real nice, calm, meditative movement music with the flutes and different instruments and all of that that doesn't have any words to it, or just some chants or something like that. So, what are we taking in? And so, how much time also are we taking during the day to meditate, to just turn everything off, sit and take a couple deep breaths, inhaling. And as we're exhaling, intentionally sending that chi and that energy all throughout our body. Sitting for a few minutes, inhaling and exhaling, focusing on our breath until the breath settles, until the chi settles, until the spirit settles, until your body feels like it's resonating and vibrating with that chi. And helping to strengthen the body. And that's some of the ways too that we can work to boost our immune system and stay healthy, is with the inhaling and the deep breath, where we're breathing all the way through our body, all the way to our fingertips, breathing into intentionally to our eyes and our ears, our organs. um, and all of that helps with condensing and really strengthening our chi, which is then going to help to move the blood and really saturate our bodies intentionally with that chi. And as we're doing that, we'll find that we're doing that even more during the day, where while you're sitting at the computer, while you're walking down the street, while you're driving, while you're in a conversation, you're focusing on your breath and really saturating your body with that chi. And that's actually able to be measured on machines. If they have certain like aura machines that can check your aura and read your aura, when you're condensing your chi and radiating your chi, it'll pick up as a more vibrant or a more vibrant aura, going to make you more attractive, going to make you more magnetic, and all of those different things. So and so much more. We can keep going with that. So yeah, y'all get the point. Y'all get the point. So what's in questions or comments? Let's see what's going on here. So, all right. Let's see. Let's see. Numi said, teach. Thank you, Numi, for tuning in. You know, we got to keep it positive. We got the young ones out here and working to bring that to, bring that positivity. And, we got to pass it on because, we're like bombarded out here, with the politics and everything going on. It's crazy. Got us talking about just what's going on. We have to stay aware, of course, but we still have to be intentional because a lot of this is working to take us off our square and take us off our foundation of truth and justice and righteousness and balance. In ancient times, what we call those principles of Ma'at. So, Numi says, Miss Lady Spencer says we can choose the thoughts we wish to entertain. Most definitely. Most definitely. Peace. Dorielle Mani, she says, saturate your body with good nutrients and great energy. For real. We need to put that on a t shirt and whatnot. She says, saturate your soul with great words and worth. That's what I'm talking about. And she also says, I play lots of lo fi music to work. If it has words, I'm distracted. Yeah, that lo fi music is the bomb. I work to same thing. I play that. And even if y'all watch my shorts, I put a lot of lo fi in it because it'll have me bopping my head and doing all of that and relaxing and all in that way. Yeah. Numi asks, will you host or lead a spring detox this year? Sure am. I have a 21 day detox, a 21-day purification program going on. It's really going on all the time. But yes, as we're moving into the spring, I have a 21-day purification program, which is excellent because you can eat the entire time, like a lot of cleanses and detoxes that I've done, and probably many of you have done over the years. You're just fasting on water or juice or progressive fast or cutting out certain foods, where with the 21-day purification program, you can eat the entire time. You're cutting out the starches. If you drink alcohol and processed foods and all of basically all of the things that you know that you shouldn't be doing, you're cutting all of that out during the purification program. Has some different shakes that you take that help to strengthen and support your liver and your heart and your kidneys, clean out your colon and your digestive system. Um, and then you're eating tons of fruits and vegetables. It comes with some different herbal capsules that are also going to go in to clean out the body, clean the blood, really help you to evacuate and get rid of excess waste in the system. You're drinking a lot of water during this time. When I do the 21-day purification program, and when you do the 21-day purification program, you'll be going to the supermarket and go into the produce section, and that's where you're pretty much going to live. So all of the different greens and the squashes and the fruits and different vegetables, that whole thing. Because people often be like, I remember years ago, um, people like, what do I eat? If I can't eat this, what do I eat? It's like, what? All of the different greens, whether you're talking about your spinach, your bok choy, your callaloo, turnip greens, mustard greens, collard greens, dandelion greens, all there's like three or four different types of kale, your lettuces, then all your different fruits, whether you're talking about your subacid fruits like your apples and pears and even your peaches and plums, your citrus fruits, your oranges and grapefruit and lemon and lime, kiwi, pineapple. You could do all your different lentils and beans, your red lentils, your split peas, your greens, everything. Y'all get the gist. And then also you're getting some green capsules. So with the 21-day purification program, it's a kit that you get um, of all of the nutrients that you are consuming in addition to the whole food that you're eating. The 21-day purification program, the kit with the shipping, is about 315, and with it you're also getting some getting emails. You'll be part of a group of other people all around the world that are also doing the 21-day purification program. Most folks, your skin clears up, you have a whole lot more energy, you're able to sleep deeper. If you got that dragon breath, it's going to help get rid of that because it's cleaning out the toxins in your stomach. Your stomach is getting flat because you're getting rid of all of the waste, um, getting rid of excess weight that you might have gained in the wintertime or just in general, getting you ready for that summer body, for the beach and vacation, and all of that. And then with it also, it becomes like a lifestyle where most people, they'll continue with the food regimen that you have during the program, and even with the supplements that comes with it, is something that you can do again, because it's not something that's just stripping and stripping and stripping the body, but it's something that's adding nutrients to the body. And I'm sure most of us can stand to get a whole lot more nutrients to help to rebalance ourselves from everything that we've done over the course of our life, of our lives individually and collectively. And so if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and you've never done a cleanse, I suggest you do this because it's relatively easy to do. And I stand by it, and the results can be phenomenal. Okay. So, yes, if you're interested in that, you can give me a call at the number below at 888-375-5444 and leave a message there, my answering service, or if you follow me on some of the platforms where you can send me a direct message, just send me a direct message and we can discuss that further and get you set up in that way. All right. Dorielle Imani, she also says, don't forget the melons, mangoes, berries, and grapes. Organic is best. Or don't get me started. Mango season is coming up. They got the Haitian mangoes about to come out soon, and all of the different mangoes. Remind me when I went to Senegal and the Gambia, they had mangoes. There's a brother, he had like a size 12 shoe. There were mangoes there the size of his shoe, size of like a child's head. So we don't get those out here, but yeah, we definitely want to get those melons, mangoes, berries, grapes, all of which are high in antioxidants and anti-cancer and all of that too. So she says, how can I says, can we virtually shop with you? So one of the things, I have my website, um, manifestherbs.com, and on there too, it's and you can do it. There's a detox program that you can even do through there. But on my website, manifestherbs.com, I have all sorts of formulas, herbal formulas there too. Teas for detox. I have like a detox tea there. I have a colon cleanse tea, have a parasite cleanse tea, heart support, liver care, kidney support, digestive support, um, the women's formula, men's formula, you name it. Everything is on there. Allergy tea, as we're coming into allergy season. So yes, you can go to manifestherbs.com. You get a big old bag of herbs. Each um, bag is probably about a half a pound of herbs, and it's the raw roots and bark, berries and leaves and stems and bark, and all of those things. And you boil it up old school style and have some tea and reprogram your body to the energy of the earth. Yes, Miss Lady Spencer says, I'm doing a 21-day Daniel fast, eating on the top of the food chain. That's right. Thank you. Oh, am I frozen on Instagram? Oh, what's going on here? Okay. Let me know if I'm back on Instagram. It looked like I was frozen for a bit. Oh, see my folks on. All right. Well, we'll keep going. We will keep going. So, yes, Imani, get rid of the waist on your waist for real. Get rid of that waistline, that line of waist. So, we're going to wrap it up there. Looks like my connection is a little shoddy. I don't know what happened there. I was plugged in. But yeah, so thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. I want you to think about even more all of the ways that you can be intentional around your health and intentional with the things that you want to saturate your mind, your body, and your spirit with. And yeah, take responsibility for your health, take responsibility for your life. And then I'm here also as a professional. Again, I am Dr. Bashara Wilson. You can follow me on all platforms. If you missed this video and want to catch the replay, it will be on YouTube. um, You can reach me at 888-375-5444 and NewYorkSportsAcupuncture.com. You can leave a message there for free detox and cleanse your body evaluation, and we can create a whole plan for you, individualized plan even for you to reach all of your health goals. And again, you can catch some of my herbs at manifestherbs.com. So thanks again, everyone, for tuning in, and I will see you all next time. Peace.